Indiana basketball crushes Alabama A&M in the season opener as the Darian DeVries era is underway, and this team is going to be a lot of fun.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, and it is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. And this is a live edition of Locked On Hoosiers. We've done them all football season long, and now we're here for you for basketball season. And I had to bring in my guy, Brian Smith, the IU grad himself, lifelong Indiana basketball fan. And he may have been, just watching from a distance the past couple of years, but he's back. New era and new Brian is what we're going to say. And so we got our man, host of the Portal podcast with the Locked On Podcast Network, is joining us. So thank you so much for all being here in this live show as Indiana basketball opens up the season with a victory over Alabama A&M 98-51. And I thought we were on 100 watch, Brian. I thought triple digits were coming. Would have been the first time since December of 2023. But I digress. Indiana looked pretty darn good. We're going to talk about the new era, what the team did, what we liked, what we didn't like, all that stuff. But man, what an opener for Indiana basketball, and what a statement made by Darian DeVries in game one.
It was awesome. Have you seen Indiana pass the basketball like that before?
Pass the basketball, shoot the basketball, run the floor, play defense. I mean, it was all off the charts. It was literally something we have not seen in years.
This is as well as I've seen Indiana pass the ball since when Bobby was coaching. Jeez. I mean, I grew up in the 80s when Indiana was really good. I know what it looks like, and I know it's a bad opponent. But they gave up good looks to get better looks for teammates, whether it was a cut to the bucket. By the way, that's the second thing. This is the best cutting team I think I've seen. Even Knights teams didn't cut this much. Offense wasn't quite the same. But holy cow, they get it. And it's so wild, Jacob, because none of these guys played with each other last year. Not one guy.
Yeah.
That I thought they would be, at best, 80 points tonight with a bunch of turnovers because so many new guys. 100% wrong, and 100% happy that I'm wrong. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was so refreshing to see. And again, we understand the competition of Alabama A&M is not anywhere near what you're going to see on Sunday against Marquette. Of course, some of your other non-conference games like Kentucky and Louisville, and of course, Big Ten play. But we just didn't have any idea, right? We had no idea what this team was going to look like. You had three guys who didn't play tonight. Nick Dorn was available, but he didn't play. So you just didn't know what the team would look like. New coach, new staff, new players, and so many refreshing things that I saw. You mentioned the passing, and a lot of that came from moving without the basketball. That was one of the complaints we had under Mike Woodson, was a stationary offense. Everybody just kind of stood there, watched the game unfold, dump it down low, and let the big guy go to work. Indiana did some of that tonight, but not a whole lot. They move without the basketball, high screen, low screen, off ball screen, slip screens, anything they could do to make the extra play, make the extra pass, and set up for a great shot. And that's what Indiana did. They shot it well from three. They shot it well in the paint. We'll go over some statistics in a moment, but just really clean, exciting basketball, Brian. And it's so refreshing to see.
Here are a couple numbers for you. 1.46 points per possession, which is off the charts. If you're at one point per possession, like, you're a pretty good spot.
Sure.
They almost got another 50% on top of that. And they had a stretch in the second half where they hit 8 out of 9 shots. I don't care what level you're at. You're shooting 89%, thumbs up. Okay. Yeah. I know they were doing good. They were so unselfish. They had 13 dunks. I'm not sure how many times they've had that many dunks at Indiana in a game. Probably not many. I mean, it's hard to get more than 10 in a game, even in today's era. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's all because of the unselfishness. Even the pass off the backboard, they were having fun with it. That was
awesome was that?
Yeah, that's stuff that I've done with friends that could dunk when I was on the playground. I never did that in a game, but it's interesting because these guys just enjoy playing with each other. And again, 0 points returning from last year's Indiana Hoosiers basketball team.
Yep.
Yet they have continuity like they've all played with each other since they were in rec league.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But I knew DeVries could coach. I didn't know he could coach this well. And hats off to the staff, too. They had it mentally dialed in for an inferior opponent, which is always hard to do.
For 40 minutes, too. And you got to see walk-ons get in this game, which we won't have many chances to highlight those guys, but they just didn't play under Mike Woodson. They get in this game, and they had a chance to play because the starters did what they were supposed to do for 30 to 35 minutes. And, hey, shout out Tucker DeVries, too. How about that guy getting 2,000 career points? I mean, should he have been in? Could they have taken him out? Yeah, probably, but they knew what was going on, and they allowed him to get a couple of extra shots. He hits 2,000 career points. It's fascinating. But, yeah, man, you start looking at shooting percentages and three-point percentages, and how about 100% from the free throw line? I mean, this is a different looking Indiana team. Hoosiers shoot 62% from the floor to 34% for Alabama A&M. Hoosiers go 42% from behind the arc, 10 of 24. And I know Indiana fans are pumped to see and hear that, because all last year, we were begging this team to shoot the basketball. Nobody wanted to, and nobody really could, even if they had to. This team is different, and LAMAR WILKERSON will be the leader of that group. We'll talk about those guys in a moment. But, yeah, you shoot 42% from three, 10 of 24 from downtown, and, again, you go 16 of 16 from the free throw line. And we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts down in the YouTube comments. We'll talk about those as we are reacting to Indiana beating Alabama A&M 98-51 in the opener. Ron says, anyone tired of seeing us make free throw after free throw after free throw? No, Ron, I'm not. I know you're joking. It's fantastic. 16 of 16, man. That's going to win you a lot of ball games. But just the shooting numbers in general, Brian, were incredible.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it. And by the way, as that was unfolding with the free throws, how many times did Indiana lose a three-point game in the last 10 years over and over again? And they sucked. They were bottom third of the Big Ten in free throw shooting.
Yeah.
At Indiana,
and you got good free throw shooting from the bigs tonight. Reed Bailey went 7 of 7. Sam Alexis went 4 for 4.
Did you notice the other thing? Like, you can tell most guys when they can shoot. Both those guys they're legitimate shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like 6'9" guys or whatever, but they can shoot the basketball. This would not be a fun team to play defense against. All 5 guys are a threat to get to the basket. And I know not everybody's a pure shooter, et cetera, but they could all score. I understand the lack of size is going to cause them some problems, especially when they go to, I assume, play in Ann Arbor. That probably won't go well in that regard underneath, but they're going to make teams play the width of the court, and they're going to make teams make really tough decisions on pick and roll, because pick and pop will be a problem, and they can drive. Like, I didn't know Reed could put the ball on the deck like that. I had no idea.
Yeah. I wasn't fully aware of that either, which makes him look more like a 4 than a 5, especially at this level. Like,
he's playing it, but he's a 4.
Yeah, and I think in some games and some matchups, that'll give you an advantage where you can use your speed and your lack of size to get up and down the floor. But yeah, you're right. Some of those Big Ten games, they may be a struggle down low. But I also liked the shot quality in this game, because the percentages are reflective of this. You either shot threes or layups and dunks. That's it. I think Indiana ended up with 2 shots outside of the painted area or inside the three-point arc in that little gray zone of mid-range jumpers. I think Indiana ended up with 2 or 3 of those on the night.
Yeah, they had, this is incredible stat, 13 dunks, so they're 13 for 13. And they were 11 of 18 on layups. Like, a lot of them were contested. So 31 shots at the rim.
Pretty good.
You're going to win pretty much any game that you get 31 shots. If you get 20, you're in a pretty good spot. 31's okay. We're in business. And on top of that, again, 1.46 points per possession. Their scoring percentage was 62.7. So that means 5 out of 8 trips down the court, you scored.
Yeah.
You score 50% of the time, you're in good shape. They hit 5 out of 8. So I know that Alabama A&M, especially their body language, got real bad about 5 minutes in the second half. They were done.
Yeah.
But Indiana didn't take their foot off the gas either. They just tried to get better. And that's why I paid attention in the second half. I mean, the game was over 7 minutes in.
Sure.
But Indiana actually wanted to play together. Like, they enjoyed it. That's what made this fun. So I was very excited about that because I thought, you know what, they'll probably just kind of just ease off here. They really didn't until the final 5 minutes, and you got weird lineups in and all that stuff. But I was very pleased with the effort, the cutting, the passing, the shooting. The only thing they don't have right now is a 7-footer that's just a natural shot blocker. There's nothing you can do about that. That ain't coming. So everything else is a pretty good team.
We'll talk about individual stats. We'll talk about a new era under Darian DeVries and why it looked different and how they can continue this, plus our favorite segment of likes and dislikes. All that's coming up here on this live edition of Locked On Hoosiers. This live show of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. And Brian, Indiana was favored by 30.5 in this game. I said, no way, take Alabama A&M because I don't know what Indiana's going to do. And you win 98-51. So safe to say, don't listen to me, I guess, is what my advice would be on this. But it keeps every game exciting, does FanDuel, especially when your team's making that late push. And I'm sure Indiana will be in that moment somewhere, but it was not tonight. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, welcome back into this live edition of Locked On Hoosiers. He is Brian Smith, our recruiting expert and host of the Portal Podcast on the Locked On Network. He's also an IU grad and a lifelong IU fan. I'm Jacob Goins, host of Locked On Hoosiers, and we want to see your thoughts and comments on this YouTube stream. Indiana beats Alabama A&M 98-51, season opener, debut for head coach Darian DeVries, and there's a lot to like from what happened here. Here's your leading scores in tonight's game. You had Reed Bailey with 21, LAMAR WILKERSON with 19, Tucker DeVries with 18. You had SAM ALEXIS with 17, Tayton Connerway with 14, and then the drop-off is significant after that. Josiah Miles with 5 and a nasty right-hand tomahawk yam. You had Trent Sicily with 2, and then you had Ian Stevens with 2 as well. But the fact that you had 5 guys in double digits, Brian, with one of them being SAM ALEXIS off the bench, IU's got some threats. They've got some dudes, and they have several options on this team offensively.
Yeah, this isn't one of those teams where you go, you know what? We're just going to kick your tail, and we're probably going to destroy you because we can just take away your best option. Can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say besides pass the ball, just find the open shooter, and just kind of let it flow. This is true Indiana historical basketball. I'm shocked because the cutting and the passing into the paint, you can't really dive off the 3-point line because even like Bailey can shoot it. I mean, it's not his first preference, but 17 feet out, he's pretty good. Indiana's in a good spot here, man. I mean, they're in a really good spot. I would expect that the Hoosiers are going to torch a lot of teams, to be really honest with you.
Especially early here in non-con play. I mean, some of these teams, these mismatches like Alabama A&M. But here's the thing, Brian. You have to remember, look back to the Woodson era or even some early eras too, where some of these games were stressful. You had some of these non-conference games that were not this blowout style. And there's obviously a lot of games left. This is just the first one of the season, but it was just nice to see. And it was nice to see guys throwing alley-oops off the backboard and having your walk-ons get in and it not be stressful for 40 minutes in the season opener. You look at some of the stats here. Reed Bailey told you 21 points. He's 7 of 9 from the floor. Tucker DeVries, 7 of 13 from the floor. LAMAR WILKERSON, 7 of 13 from the floor. Tayton Connerway, 6 of 7. SAM ALEXIS, 6 of 7. And let's talk about some of those guys individually before we get to likes and dislikes. I mean, LAMAR WILKERSON could shoot it from half court if he wanted to. Darian DeVries has talked about he's got the green light when he crosses half court, and you saw why tonight. That dude has some range.
I don't want him shooting a ton of those, but you talk about give the arena a little bit of a charge. That one that he hit, it was darn near 30 feet. That's obviously not a high percentage shot, but he bottomed that sucker.
Yeah, he did.
that was like, I know this before you're, that's like a Jay Edwards, Steve Alford, guys that are, all-time greats. They had the green light too from Bobby, and they shot whenever. But you don't see that very often where guys, it's natural. Like, it's not a heave. He's got some strength. He's got some leg power. He spent some time on the squat rack. Good for him. He's got a chance to get paid. He's got a chance to get paid because he can shoot. I mean, he can at least play in Europe and play. I don't know if he's an NBA guy. He's not real tall, but holy cow, he could go to the three-point competition. No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, a top 15 scorer from a year ago. So LAMAR WILKERSON obviously will be one of your go-to options. I thought Tucker DeVries looked good tonight, shooting the basketball, handling the basketball, passing the basketball as well. He had 4 assists, also 11 rebounds to Tucker DeVries. So that's an underrated stat that we need to highlight there for Tucker. And then your big guys, Reed Bailey and SAM ALEXIS. I mean, SAM ALEXIS may be the highlight of this game, Brian, because he came off the bench, as he most likely will, depending on what your rotation look like, and 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and 6 of 7 from the floor, and 4 for 4 from the line. That's as good as it gets for SAM ALEXIS coming off the bench in game 1 wearing the cream and crimson.
I thought he was the best overall player because he had some shot blocking. He was still unselfish. He only missed like 1 shot or something like that.
Yeah,
he's got a natural stroke. I had no idea he could shoot like that. Watching his free throws, that's a good sign. He's got some confidence. I'm surprised by that because he was on a loaded front line for the Gators. He didn't play a ton. He looks like a guy that could have started at all but about 5 schools last year.
Yeah, he looked really good. He looked really good.
They need to find a way to get him on the court at the same time as Bailey. Play him as the 5 and Bailey as the 4.
Yeah.
Because especially against like Michigan, they're not going to match up at all.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm curious about moving forward. But that's something we didn't know. And now that might be something DeVries thinks about, because like, you don't know until you see him in a game.
Yeah.
Hitting shots in practice is one thing.
And I think there's going to be a lot of different rotations too. I don't believe Connor Enright is a guy that starts for you most games in Big Ten play. Of course, Indiana had several guys like Nick Dorn who were questionable coming into this game. He dressed out and he went through warmups, but we didn't see him in this game. That's somebody that could take that starting role, but also Jason Drake, Josh Harris, and Alexa Ristic didn't play in this game either. So you had 4 guys on your team that could make contributions that simply didn't play. And so you have that to build on for the future too. But Indiana beats Alabama A&M 98-51. Again, drop your thoughts in the YouTube comments. We'll hit some of those on the way out. But let's do likes and dislikes here, Brian. It's as simple as that. Things you liked, things you disliked. I'll start on a side of the floor we haven't touched on much, defensively. I loved Indiana's defensive effort and pressure on every single possession, acting like the game was up for grabs and on the line from the opening jump. They moved really well, communicated well, pressured the basketball well, and made it hell for Alabama A&M, even though Indiana's not a huge team. So I really liked Indiana's defensive effort tonight.
I'm going to go with the free throw shooting as my first like.
Okay.
Because it's just something that college basketball has been plagued by this for a long time. It's an epidemic. If Indiana hit shots like that, I know they're picked somewhere around 10th in the league. If you shoot in the top 3 in the league in free throws, they're going to finish way above that.
Yeah.
Because those 2-point losses become 5-point wins real quick.
Yeah. And again, from your big guys too. Again, Reed Bailey was 7 of 7, SAM ALEXIS 4 of 4. So they hit 11 of the 16 that the team is. And so is it a dislike that the guards didn't get to the line more? Or maybe we'll see that against better quality opponents? Maybe.
That's part of it. But at the same time, like when they do a terrible job. I understood the scheme that Alabama A&M was trying to throw out there, and they were steadfast. That coach is as stubborn as cement, is hard. They can't run it. They're not fast enough.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't change in Indiana to split it over and over for dunks, and they never change. It's terrible coaching. But if they're going to do it, you should dunk the basketball. And if they're going to foul, you go hit the free throws. Indiana executed based on the circumstance over and over again with their bigs. And they hit, like you said, they hit free throws and they passed it. Like their big men can pass. Tucker got layups and some of the guards got layups. The only guy, and this is weird, let's look at it. Enright didn't even take a shot in the game, and Indiana shot all the way through the entire line was good, and they scored 98. He didn't take a shot. So he needs to score. It's my only dislike. Like, you got to get a shot off at some point because eventually they're just not going to guard you.
Yeah.
So that's going to be on the books now. He has to start shooting, or he's got to sit next to the coaches on the bench. You can't be 4-on-5. That's my only dislike, really, from the game, because, like you said, hustle on defense, free throw shooting, 3-point shooting, all that was good. Passing was good. Just need Enright to shoot a little bit. And I know he won't be, like you said, he won't be a starter, I don't think, come Big Ten play.
Mm-hmm.
But he's fast as all get out, and he's unselfish, so he does have a role.
I'll tell you something that I liked, and Austin brings it up right here. Says, great environment to be at inside of Assembly Hall. We weren't there clearly, but you could hear it. I mean, you could see it, you could hear it, you could feel it. And yeah, when you're hitting three, the thing that should have told us everything, Brian, was the first made basket of the Darian DeVries era was a three. And it's like, all right, here we go. We're ready. The first made basket of this new coaching staff and new team is a made three. And it's like, all right, here we go. All the threes and dunks is what Austin says too. But the environment at Assembly Hall just felt a little different. Yes, you win by almost 50, but it just felt different. And maybe this was a game where the fan base can say, okay, maybe we do have some talent. Maybe we do have a little firepower this year, because you play Marquette on Sunday, which we'll get to on the way out here. Maybe this is something that'll get the fan base kind of sparked up. With football still going on, I liked the energy tonight at Assembly Hall.
It's one of the greatest venues in American sports. I've been there many times for high school and college games. That place is insanely loud, just the way it's built. And the fans have something to cheer about again.
Yeah.
I guarantee you the ticket prices, unfortunately for us, will be going up, because Indiana basketball is finally fun again. It's been over a decade, really, sadly. But now they're at a point where they have a coach that everybody enjoys, and the kids have responded. Seeing this, I can tell you as a recruiting expert, it will not be hard to bring in guys. Some of Indiana's been stoned with local recruits for years. They getting Sicily was kind of a shocker in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That's going to change now. You're going to start seeing the Indianapolis train head south again. That was always the key for Knight. Whoever the best Indianapolis kid was, getting that guy to come south. I think Indiana is going to be much better and more athletic moving forward from the high school ranks. Not have to rely on the portal. This kind of game can help you with that.
Yeah, I know some may be disappointed with Trent Sisley, only 2 points tonight. He looked a little out of place at times, but he'll get there. I believe in Trent Sisley. That kid is a freak, and he's going to be a key contributor to this Indiana team. Another thing that I liked is what this commenter brings up. 5 turnovers in the first half. Says last year's team would have had 5 turnovers in the first 5 minutes. Only 11 on the night. Only 11 total turnovers for this Indiana team that moved the basketball a ton, right? I always compare it to changing lanes in traffic on the interstate. The more you pass it, the more chance you have to turn it over. The more times you change lanes, the more times you have a chance to wreck your car, right? But Indiana moved the basketball well and didn't give away points. Again, Alabama A&M is not a great team defensively or in general, but you didn't give a bunch of those silly giveaways, bad passes and bad dribbling and too many dribbles and too much ball handling. You just didn't have a whole lot of that tonight. And if that can continue throughout the season, Indiana offensively is in a good spot.
Yeah, I was just thrilled with the unselfishness. I guess you could rank that number one because it falls into everything.
Yeah.
Defensively, they hustled when somebody got beat. For the most part, there was somebody there. I mean, there was a few layups and dunks and stuff they gave up. That's basketball. But then that really transitioned to the offensive side. This is one of the most efficient offensive teams in the country. You can see that coming because they have so many shooters, and they don't give a crap who shoots the ball. That is unbelievably rare in today's society. We are a very ridiculously selfish society.
Yeah.
So I would imagine Indiana is going to be one of the more fun teams to watch in the Big Ten. If they finish in the top 7 or 8 teams now, wouldn't surprise me. Before, I was like, if they make the tournament, they'll be doing good. I'll be very surprised this team doesn't make the tournament now because they're so unselfish.
Which was our goal coming in. I mean, the goal is to just make the tournament in year one. Long term, obviously not. But for a guy who just got fired because he missed the tournament a couple of times, and Mike Woodson, you have Darian DeVries step in. And I think this team's goal is to absolutely make it to the NCAA tournament. So lots of likes and dislikes in there. The stats speak for themselves. And this was a fun game to watch. But Brian, before we get out of here, we look ahead to what's coming up as the Hoosiers are out on the road. Not a true road game game, but they head to Chicago to take on Marquette on Sunday afternoon. And for those who were keeping up with it, Marquette had themselves a little fight tonight. They had to take on Southern and pulled away late, 100-82, but that was a 6-point ball game at the half. So I don't know. Read into that if you want to. Those Southern Jaguars are tough now, but Marquette does drop triple digits. They beat Southern 100-82. It's a much different Marquette team than most people think they are, but it's still a big name. It's a big brand, and what an opportunity on Sunday afternoon on ESPN, so national television.
That's also important, although about half America probably still won't see it because of don't get me started on that.
What a disaster.
I hate Disney with every fiber of my being. But at the same time, Indiana, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Indiana basketball again. And now it's headed in the right direction. Do I think they're going to lose to Marquette? Probably not. Before this, I was like, yeah. Now I feel good about them. Even games like Louisville and Kentucky, they're going to be competitive with everybody they play because they can score the ball, man. That matters.
Yep, they can score and they play ferocious defense. So pretty much a perfect season opener and a nice debut for Darian DeVries, his staff, and his team as Indiana takes down Alabama A&M 98-51 in Assembly Hall. And we're going to have so much fun all season long doing live shows just like this one here on the Locked On Hoosiers YouTube channel. He is Brian Smith, host of the Portal Podcast, a part of our Locked On Podcast Network. Go check him out. He puts daily shows out talking transfer portal, recruiting, mainly football stuff, but he joins us all the time here on Locked On Hoosiers, talking all things Indiana basketball now, football as well. So make sure you subscribe to Locked On Hoosiers as well. We'll have a live show Saturday afternoon talking Indiana football versus Penn State, and then a live show Sunday afternoon right back here talking about basketball versus Marquette, and full episodes Monday through Friday as well. Brian, I appreciate you hopping on, my friend. I look forward to doing this again all season long for what seems to be a pretty fun Indiana basketball team.
Absolutely. This is going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. Okay, we're back for a normal episode tomorrow here on Locked On Hoosiers, fans. So until then, stay safe, and we'll talk to you later.